Hello out there in Harrington land. Going to do a little blog quickly. Why fluoropolymer tubing? Kind of a fluoropolymer tubing 101. And I happened to go and grab a couple of scraps of stuff out of stock. One is, here's a little, I'm not sure if I'm holding that up. There's a little piece of 3/4 ID Finger Lakes tubing that I sliced down the middle for a little demonstration in a second. And I did the same thing with a piece of 3/4 inch PFA tubing that we have in stock, lots of it. And so the question really is, why do you use fluoropolymer tubing, say instead of PVC, vinyl tubing from Finger Lakes, Tygon tubing? And there's some very, very good reasons why we do it. So I made myself some notes here so I don't get too far ahead of myself. But there's some real clear differences. One, clear vinyl tubing, for instance, is only good up to 140 degrees F. If you go down too much below freezing, it gets very brittle, almost glass-like, where you can shatter it. With PFA, you're talking a temperature range that goes down to minus 328 degrees Fahrenheit, all the way up on the other side, 500 degrees Fahrenheit, continuous operating temperature. So there's a big swing there. And with I call it fluoroplastic tubing, we're talking principally PTFE, PFA, and FEP. Most of what we do here is PFA, which is pure fluoroalkoxy, or polyfluorinated alkoxy. You hear it a couple of different ways. That's where you come up with the acronym PFA. And the reason being is that high temperature. But the other thing is it's what's called fully fluorinated. It is the strongest organic chemical bond known to man. It's a covalent bond. Essentially, carbon and fluorine atoms with very minimal side chains make up the resin. And once you put it together, those bonds do not want to break apart. It's nearly indestructible. And so for very strong organic chemistry, either acids or bases, non-organics, and strong solvents, etc., PFA is ideal. The big issue these days is, if you listen to news and some of the other stuff, we used to talk about, I'm recording this on my iPhone, which incidentally, my iPhone, here's a factoid you'll like. My iPhone is 10,000 times more computing power, my little iPhone, than all of the computing power they used on the Apollo 11 flights back in '69 to land man on the moon. Just to give you some idea of how much we've advanced in several short decades. And we were talking back, I used to say, hey, when I was doing a talk, the average clean room is 100x cleaner, 100 times cleaner than a surgical theater. And people go, wow. And it is now, in this day and age, we're making microcircuits down at the nanoscale level. Your normal clean room at Intel or Samsung TSMC is 10,000 times cleaner. So just to give you some idea how much has changed. And one of the advantages of PFA is this interior surface, and I wish I could shine this in you probably can see that a little bit of refraction. That's a super smooth finish. It's basically what's called 0.25 RA, or essentially 250 nanometers in terms of average surface roughness, and that's according to the SEMI F57 specs. I can't sell this tubing as semiconductor grade tubing unless it meets that. What's interesting, I've got one of the big fat Sharpies here. Check this out. So I'll put this up close, but if I try to mark this tubing, it basically doesn't. It tries to put the ink, and the ink basically just wrinkles up and won't stick. Conversely, if I do that on PVC for a variety of reasons, PVC tubing, by the way, is very, very smooth. See how shiny that is? Really nice for food grade processing and a lot of applications, but it doesn't have the chemical resistance. But it also, look at that. So based on surface roughness, chemical resistance, and that sort of thing. So one of the good things about PFA is surface profilometry, and also just the surface tension allows it to shed particles, not build up on the inside of the tubing, keeps bacteria from growing on the inside of tubing, and that's true with PFA and FEP and PTFE. And that's why it's used a lot in life sciences, pharmaceutical, medical, even medical implant, where devices are being put inside the human body, are often fluoroplastic. So the things are going to continue to get smaller. They're trying to get stuff down into the 2 to 5 nanometer scale, which is, I can't even comprehend that. I used to think, we were talking about not too many years ago doing microcircuits at, 1.8 microns. Well, shoot, we're now down in the nanometer scale to nearly atomic levels. Just to give you some idea, a human red blood cell is typically 5 to 8 microns in diameter. And now we're talking about nanometer scale that is 1,000 times smaller than that we're making microcircuits with. So anyway, that was my quick blog on why we use fluoroplastic tubing, particularly in the semiconductor industry, and it's going to continue to get cleaner and cleaner and cleaner as we go. So till then, I'll see you next time for another quick blog. Thanks.